Honor to welcome His Majesty the King of Morocco to the Oval Office. We've had a really good discussion about a number of matters. No question that Morocco is a great friend of the United States of America, and for that, Your Majesty, we are very grateful. I appreciate your steadfast support when it comes to the war on terror. I appreciate your leadership in the region. Today, I've informed His Majesty that our government will work to enact a free trade agreement with Morocco. It's in our nation's interest that we do so. His Majesty believes it's in his nation's interest that we have a free trade agreement as well. To this end, it's very important that the United States Senate act on free trade to give me the Trade Promotion Authority, as well as to work on the extension of the Indian Trade Preference Act. Trade is an important part of good foreign policy. It's an important part of making sure Americans can find jobs, and the Senate needs to act, and needs to act now. We will continue our discussions over lunch. Look forward to those discussions. His Majesty brings a lot of knowledge, a lot of vision, and it's my honor to welcome him here to the Oval Office, Your Majesty.
Well, as I told you, I will ask Mr. Ben Issa to translate. Sure. It will be easier for me and safer for you. Stephen Issa vous remerciera encore, comme j'ai déjà dit tout à l'heure, Monsieur le Président des États-Unis, pour les paroles qui m'honorent, mais qui honorent aussi ma famille ainsi que tout le peuple marocain.
His Majesty wishes to thank you, Mr. President, for the words you have just expressed towards Morocco, and words which honor His Majesty personally, the royal family, as well as the entire Moroccan people.
Nous sommes très honorés des relations qui ont toujours existé entre le Maroc et les États-Unis, mais je pense qu'actuellement nous allons passer à la vitesse supérieure.
We are honored with the relations we have enjoyed so far with the United States, but I think it's time that we have to shift the gear to go on a higher speed.
Et nous allons donc, Inch'Allah, concrétiser une véritable volonté de collaborer avec nos partenaires américains, et ce dans différents domaines. Donc, en ce qui concerne la lutte contre le terrorisme, nous sommes décidés, à raison d'ailleurs, de collaborer entièrement avec nos partenaires américains, car ce sont des actes qui sont, que nous ne pouvons que condamner.
And we are determined to carry out all kinds of programs dealing with our cooperation, our collaboration in all fields. With respect to terrorism, Mr. President, we are also determined to go ahead with you in fighting terrorism, and this is something of concern to Morocco in as much as it's of concern to the United States and all the democratic people in the world.
En ce qui concerne donc la zone de libre-échange entre le Maroc et les États-Unis, je sais que ça faisait partie des priorités de Monsieur le Président et des miennes aussi. Donc je remercie le Président et toute l'administration américaine d'avoir fait en sorte de concrétiser cet accord. J'ai eu l'occasion de rencontrer M. Zelik plusieurs fois, dont hier, et je pense que les choses vont avancer assez rapidement. Et je vais rencontrer donc des responsables américains qui s'occupent justement de ce volet afin de pouvoir le concrétiser le plus rapidement possible.
With respect to the free trade zone which you have just announced, Mr. President, I would like to thank you and to tell you how much we appreciate this initiative coming from yourself, Mr. President, and from the United States. We will work closely with your collaborators, in particular Mr. Zodik, who I have met twice, and who will be visiting Morocco together with his colleagues. We will work very closely with them in order to bring about the concretization of this great program of cooperation and friendship between the United States and Morocco.
Je tiens aussi à remercier encore une fois Monsieur le Président pour tout ce qu'il fait pour le Maroc, mais aussi pour le maintien de la paix et de la sécurité dans le monde. Je tiens aussi à remercier Monsieur le Secrétaire d'État, Monsieur Colin Powell, pour tout ce qu'il a fait pour essayer de ramener le calme et la tranquillité dans la région, en espérant qu'il n'a pas été trop traumatisé par mon accueil au Maroc lorsqu'on a fait à Gazière l'année dernière.
His Majesty wishes Mr. President to praise the efforts you personally make and your administration to promote peace and understanding in the world. He wishes also to thank and to praise Mr. Secretary of State Colin Powell for what he has done so far, and especially the effort he just deployed lately and the visit in the region, of which we can beginning to see the results. And His Majesty wishes that the Secretary of State would have recovered by now from the trauma he has had when he first met with His Majesty in Agadir.
Et je tiens à remercier aussi Madame Tutwiler pour l'excellent travail qu'elle fait depuis son arrivée au Maroc.
And I would like to thank also Mrs. Tetweller for the excellent work she has been doing since she arrived to Morocco.
Thank you, Your Majesty. We'll answer a couple of questions, or I will. Barry?
Mr. President, on that trip, the Secretary came home with an Israeli idea, but others said similar things, for an international peace conference. And since he's been home, the White House reaction seems to be a little lukewarm. Is that something you think is a viable idea, a foreign ministers' conference perhaps?
Well, what's first important to know that our government means what we say, and we said that that the only way for there to be lasting peace is for there to be two states living side by side at peace with each other. And secondly, that in order to achieve that vision, all parties have responsibilities. The Arab world has responsibilities, and we will work with them to delineate those responsibilities and to encourage them to accept those responsibilities. Mr. Arafat has got responsibilities, and that is not only to renounce terrorism, but to fight terror. Mr. Sharon has got responsibilities, and that is to continue his withdrawal. There is a strategy in place. We're analyzing all options to help achieve this vision, and I look forward to visiting with His Majesty about ideas such as a conference. The key is, however, for the leaders of the world to work toward that vision by assuming, accepting, and acting on the responsibilities necessary to achieve peace. Holland, do you hear? Who? Oh, there he is. Hey, that's right.
Mr. President, are you concerned that the long hours and the pressure of working in this building will drive away more people like Karen Hughes? And would you be here without her?
Well, first of all, Your Majesty, one of my close friends and advisor has informed the White House today that she's moving back to Texas. And the reason why is because her husband and son will be happier in Texas, and she had put her family ahead of her service to my government, and I am extremely grateful for that approach and that priority. And Karen Hughes will be changing her address, but she will still be in my inner circle. I value her judgment, and I will have her judgment. I value her advice, I have her advice, and I value her friendship, and I will have her friendship.
Thank you all very much. Thank you. Bye.